Welcome to Kermode Uncut. It's that time of the year when we look back at the first half of the year, first 6 months through to June, to look at how the year is shaped up and see whether my favourite and least favourite films of the year are actually going to be there at the end of the year. So I've done a bunch of lists. I've done top 10 movies of the year so far, bottom 10 movies of the year so far, and also in a new category, top 10 documentaries. There have been so many great documentaries out this year. But to start things rolling, this is Neil Brand. Neil and I are here at a festival to play a accompaniment to a silent movie, Russian Silent, The Ghost That Never Returns. Neil, we did a blog last Christmas. I was asking you about your favourite movie score of last year, and it was Gravity, which you loved. Of the first 6 months of 2014, which film has had the music which has most impressed you?
I have to say, and it was one I wasn't expecting to be impressed by musically, The Grand Budapest Hotel.
Oh, okay, which is a great film.
Yeah, but what a lovely score by Desplat. And I'll put my cards on the table. I think Desplat does too many movies and doesn't always come up with fantastically original stuff with each one. And I thought his Godzilla score sounded like it had really been well scored by Hans Zimmer. But I thought Grand Budapest Hotel was so full of wonderful, funny, huge variety of sounds. But more than anything else, it's hard to score comedy.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to score comedy which has got a very specific historical geographical position. And I think he gave us that sense of an old Middle European world even better than the design of the film.
It is a film which is designed to within an inch of its life.
Image by image.
When you say it's difficult to do comedy, is that because musically doing comedy often inclines towards quack, quack, oops, don't let 'em, that sort of thing?
You can't arrest him simply because he's a bloody immigrant.
Take your hands off my lobby boy!
I think what Grand Budapest did, which was astonishing, was it pulled off the double trick of doing music that was innately funny, but also grounded it in this historical and geographical space.
Yeah.
And it made an even better job, I think, of kind of placing the film than the images did. The beauty of what Desplat did was that for each character, virtually, you had their tune, their sound.
Yeah.
So when you saw a character with another character's tune across them, you immediately thought, uh-oh. And usually it was when Willem Dafoe was stalking somebody. And straight away the music is already saying to you, this person is now dead, forget it. This person has not got a hope of getting out of this situation. That sort of thing. And for a modern audience, great comedy writing is about linking into their generic knowledge, into what they understand. The Simpsons does it all the time.
Yeah.
Alf Clausen is brilliant at that because he just knows you pull a particular style of music and immediately people go, oh, American TV sitcom, oh, tragic gothic horror. He can just get it in a few notes. Yeah. That's what Desplat pulled off there.
Okay, well, I think Grand Budapest is a really good and interesting choice. I have to say, the thing which jumped out for me was the score for Noah by Clint Mansell, because I like Noah, but I think as a film it's kind of crazy and all over the place, but I think Clint Mansell's score holds it together.
Yeah.
I think it's his music that makes that film dramatically coherent. And you talked about it when the film first came out, and you said it goes some way to restoring that sense of awe which you felt had been lost.
Absolutely, and he comes from exactly the opposite end. Where Desplat kind of spreads music through the whole of Grand Budapest like a kind of huge wave, he's using tiny, very sort of small, very minimalist ideas. So it's easier to get awe from there. You can build to it in a small way, and then when it comes, it's a single grand statement. Poof. If you've got that size of sound against that size of image, bingo. And I was really impressed with what Clint Mansell did. He did an epic score, but it wasn't epic in the way it sounded.
Yeah.
It was epic in the way that it told the story, in the way that it kind of erupted at the moment it needed to.
The other score which stands out for me is Mika Levy's score for Under the Skin. I know there have been live performances of it, and again I thought the thing with Under the Skin was that it's very, very ambitious and it doesn't always work, but the score kind of makes it coherent. The score welds everything together, and I think sometimes people don't understand quite how much you see a film and it either works or doesn't because the score told you what the story was. Now, as somebody who writes scores for a living, that is part of the purpose. It's you tell the story.
It is, but then at the same time, there's Zimmer on, actually saying, I will not tell people what to think. Now that's kind of interesting because he thinks he's telling people he's not telling people what to think. He kind of is
But he
telling
is,
people what to
yes.
think. But maybe what he's not doing, he's not making up their minds for them about how they should react to a situation. Maybe that's the difference. And yes, I do think there are scores that actually have just been too crowding in to the image, that have gone too far to basically say, oh look, this is really sad, this is really sad, this is really sad, this is really sad. Comedy. How many scores do you know that have kept on going, this is really funny, this is funny, isn't this funny? Don't you think this is funny? And that's the worst thing you can have in your ear when you're trying to find something to laugh at on screen.
Well, you and I are off now to do a made-up on-the-spot accompaniment to a 1929-28 Soviet film about prison breaks in South America.
There will be theremins.
There will be theremins. Neil, thank you very much.
Great pleasure, mate.